In the great medical and financial race of our moment, the frantic contest to treat diabetes and obesity, there is a company that has quietly pulled to the very front. It is not the famous Danish pioneer, but a firm nearly 150 years old, headquartered in the American Midwest, in Indianapolis. On the strength of a single, extraordinary new drug and a pipeline of others behind it, it has become one of the most valuable companies in the entire world. It is called Eli Lilly, and this is a series about the companies that run the world. Eli Lilly represents a particular kind of power, the power not of the first mover, but of the one who arrives second and arrives better. The Danish company may have opened this new frontier, but Lilly followed with a drug that many consider more potent still, and in doing so vaulted past almost everyone to become, astonishingly, the most valuable healthcare company on the planet. This is the story of how being second can sometimes mean winning. Its roots run deep into American history. Eli Lilly was founded in 1876 by a Civil War veteran of that very name, and it grew over the following century into one of the storied pillars of the pharmaceutical industry. And there is a striking historical echo here, because it was Lilly that first mass-produced insulin in the 1920s. Both of today's great rivals, in other words, trace their power back to the very same 100-year-old breakthrough. The reason Lilly surged ahead lies in a clever twist of biology, where the pioneering drugs mimic a single natural hormone to control appetite and blood sugar. Lilly's medicine, known chemically as tirzepatide, mimics two of them at once. This dual action, hitting two of the body's signaling systems together, has made it, in many trials, even more powerful, producing some of the most dramatic results the field has ever seen. That drug reaches patients under two now famous names. As Mounjaro, it treats diabetes. As Zepbound, it treats obesity. Together, they are Lilly's answer to its Danish rivals blockbusters, and they have detonated with the same explosive force, becoming some of the fastest growing medicines in the history of the industry and driving the company to breathtaking heights. The scale of the resulting fortune is difficult to fully absorb. On the back of these drugs, Eli Lilly rocketed to become, by market value, the most valuable healthcare company in the world, worth far more than pharmaceutical names many times its age. For a period, it stood among the most valuable companies of any kind, anywhere, a drug maker rivaling the great titans of technology. But here is what separates Lilly from being merely a one-drug wonder, and it is the deepest source of its strength, the pipeline. Behind its obesity blockbuster sits a deep bench of other medicines in development, spanning some of the hardest problems in all of medicine. In pharmaceuticals, the drugs you sell today matter far less than the drugs you will sell tomorrow, and Lilly's tomorrow looks unusually rich. Consider one especially profound example. Lilly has developed one of the first drugs shown to meaningfully slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease, a condition that has defeated the pharmaceutical industry for decades and brought heartbreak to millions of families. To have a genuine, if partial, answer to both the obesity epidemic and the dementia crisis inside a single company is a staggering concentration of medical firepower. And there is a next frontier that could change the whole game, the pill. Today's blockbuster drugs must be injected, which limits who will take them and how fast they can be made. Both Lilly and its rival are racing to perfect a version that works as a simple daily tablet. Whoever cracks a pill that is as effective as the injection could unlock these treatments for hundreds of millions more people and reshape the market all over again. All of this runs into the same brutal physical wall that constrains its rival, manufacturing. Making these complex medicines at the scale the world now demands is extraordinarily hard, and for a long time, the binding limit has not been desire but supply. Lilly, like Novo Nordisk, is now spending tens of billions of dollars building vast new factories in a frantic arms race simply to make enough of what it has already invented. So this has resolved into one of the great corporate duels of the age, Eli Lilly against Novo Nordisk. Two companies, born from the same century-old discovery, now locked in a titanic contest over what could become the single largest medicine market in human history. Each leapfrogs the other with new data and new drugs in a rivalry that is pushing the science forward at a genuinely breathtaking pace. Their shared moat, against everyone else, is immense. It is built from the deep science of these molecules, the fiendish difficulty of manufacturing them, sprawling patents, and pipelines that reach years into the future. For any third company hoping to break in, the two leaders are simply too far ahead on too many fronts at once to be easily caught. And yet, a hard shadow falls across this triumph, and it is the question of price. These medicines, and American drugs in general, are famously expensive, and nowhere more so than in the United States itself, where patients and insurers often pay far more than anywhere else on earth. A great deal of Lilly's soaring fortune rests on a pricing system that many find deeply unfair, in which the sickest and the most desperate can end up paying the most. So we reach the question this series always asks of what would break if Eli Lilly vanished. And the answer reaches across several of the gravest challenges in medicine at once. A leading treatment for the obesity and diabetes epidemics would be gone, and so would one of the few real glimmers of hope against Alzheimer's disease. An enormous share of the pharmaceutical industry's momentum and its promise is now concentrated inside this one company. Which brings us to the uncomfortable question, in perhaps its most consequential form in all of medicine. How much of the future of human health, our fight against obesity, against diabetes, against dementia itself, should rest in the hands of a mere two companies and be governed by the prices they choose to set? It is a concentration of hope and of power over that hope, with very few parallels anywhere. To be fair, and it truly and profoundly deserves saying, the achievement here is close to miraculous. Eli Lilly is producing science that may ease some of the deepest and most stubborn afflictions of the human body, from runaway metabolism to the slow erasure of the mind. Whatever the fierce and legitimate debates about cost and access, the underlying work is a genuine and historic contribution to human well-being. And that is the deeper lesson of this particular giant. In the world of medicine, the ultimate power is not simply having one great drug today. It is owning a pipeline, a machine that keeps producing the breakthroughs of tomorrow in the diseases that matter most. Eli Lilly understood that whoever can reliably manufacture hope against humanity's hardest ailments holds one of the most valuable and most weighty positions that exists. So the next time you hear of a new wonder drug for the body or the mind and marvel at what modern medicine can suddenly do, spare a thought for the quiet Midwestern company so often behind it. Nearly a century and a half old, and now standing at the very frontier of the human body, Eli Lilly is a reminder that some of the greatest power on earth lies simply in being able to heal what no one else yet can.